Good morning once more, and thank you so much for keeping it GBS Morning Extra. My name is Tom Mwema, as usual. Remember, today we are talking about Punguza Mizigo initiative and Punguza Mizigo Bill 2019 that has been promoted by the Third Way Alliance Kenya. And this morning, I'm glad to be joined by the Secretary General, Fred Kokango. Good morning, Fred.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
You're good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, we have seen the Punguza Mizigo initiative has been there for a while, and now it's almost gearing to the last stages.
Sure.
Yeah, and also we had your party leader, Dr. Ekuru Okot. Let's hear what he had to say last week when he was talking after a meeting with the IBC officials.
Seamless, and we hope that it will be completed in the shortest time possible, because Kenyans are feeling the pain and the load of our governance. So Punguza Mizigo, essentially, as you all know, is meant to reduce the cost, the burden of governance in our country. Kenyans, recently you've had the controller of budget, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission lament about the cost of wage bill. Punguza Mizigo is going to save Kenyans 3.78 trillion Kenya shillings. So even the president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, should be able to embrace this referendum and to stop others who are talking about referendum calls in funerals, in weddings, in bars, because this is the real thing. It has started, it has kicked off, and it's now under, basically it follows Article 257 of our Constitution. So anybody else talking about...
Okay, now keep tweeting hashtag GBS Morning Extra, hashtag Punguza Mizigo Bill 2019, and of course the SMS line is 21144. So keep the questions coming. Super SG is here to respond to all your questions about the Punguza Mizigo initiative. First of all, Okango, let's start from the basics. What is Punguza Mizigo Bill 2019 all about?
Punguza Mizigo Bill 2019 is a bill that intends to amend the Constitution of Kenya through popular initiative under Article 257 that says that anyone who wants to amend the Constitution of Kenya must first of all collect signatures of registered voters, 1 million, that must be verified by IBC, and then convert their proposal of amendment of the Constitution to a bill, then submit to IBC for verification, and if that process passes, then the bill is submitted to the counties, and which must be passed by 24 counties, which is the majority of the counties. Then the bill comes to the National Assembly and the Senate, and then from there, if it passes, the President has sent it as a law. If it fails to pass it, it goes to the people of Kenya, who are the ultimate decider. That is what Punguza Mizigo Bill. But in a nutshell, Punguza Mizigo Bill is meant to lower the cost of burden of governance that is borne by the common man, the taxpayer. And this bill has been divided into 7 themes. And just in summary, the first one is to strengthen Parliament, and the National Assembly and the Senate, and to lower the cost of running it. The second one is to strengthen devolution and take money to the doorsteps of the people, because that's where the people are. The third one is to end theft of public money and also enhance integrity. The other one is to end the gender imbalance between men and women. Okay. And the other one is to end the cost of running election, and lastly is to ensure that we lower the wage bill and the cost of recurrent expenditure. And I'll explain more about all those.
Okay, I will touch each of them as we continue. And let's talk about how many signatures did you collect? And because we have seen, this is not the first time we have seen this. Remember the Okoa Kenya and the similar initiative that they claimed to have collected 1.2 signatures.
They claimed.
Yeah, they claimed.
They claimed. As we don't claim.
They claimed.
Do.
And,
now,
and it turned out, sorry for cutting you short, it turned out that they only had 800,000 signatures. Now, are we expecting similar thing to happen with you guys?
When we started Punguza Mizigo, we had 4 meetings with the IEBC, and we learned from the failure of Okoa Kenya. We had a meeting with Chebukati and his team, the Referendum Technical Committee, and we learned. And we had a discussion, and we agreed that one of the quickest way of collecting these signatures is to design an online platform that will ensure that you can sign this bill or this petition wherever you are in this country. And that system was uploaded in our website, and that's how we managed to move very fast, unlike Okoa Kenya. These signatures were then taken to IEBC. If you look at what Dr. Okot was saying there, I was there. We were at KICD on Thika Road, where we were We had just visited the verification center. And if you checked what IBC were doing, they were checking the physical form against the soft. And they were real signature with voter detail of the county, constituency, polling center, and so on and so forth. And therefore, the difference between us and Okoa Kenya is as huge as their night.
Okay. So you ensure that every person who registered, who signed, collected signature, was a genuinely registered voter.
The law requires that the person who is signing under Popular Initiative, Article 57, must be a Kenyan registered voter. Okay. That is the people we went for. But again, that is not our job. Okay. That job is for IEBC to verify whether that person is a registered voter or not. And that is the report that they're giving us on 19th. That is Friday of this week.
Okay, so at the point of collection, you are verifying all those details as a party?
At the point of signature collection, we were asking people, are you a registered voter? Do you believe that we need to lower the burden? Yes. When you say yes, you come and sign for the signature.
Okay.
Yes.
And you are talking about reducing the cost of governance.
Correct.
And many will ask, the party leader, Dr. Ekuru Aukot, was in the commission of experts during the drafting
Committee of experts.
Committee of experts, sorry, during the drafting of 2010 Constitution.
Absolutely.
How comes he did not raise?
The CEO.
Yeah. How comes he did not raise those issues then?
Constitution making is a negotiated process. It's a negotiated process because it is political. And remember, 2010 Constitution, we were coming from post-election violence, and we needed to make a quick fix. And by the way, the Constitution of Kenya, if you read the preamble, it says, we the people adopt and enact and give unto us. It means it is the people that pass the Constitution over 70%. It does not say, I, Ekuru Aukot. It does not say, I, Ekuru Aukot, adopt and give to the people of Kenya. No, that means Ekuru Aukot was part of the team that drafted this Constitution, but they gave people a choice. Remember, there was no and yes. Oh, yeah. People said yes. And therefore, Ekuru Aukot was just part of the team. He couldn't do anything. He was working together with the team. And the political negotiation at that time was so massive that you cannot influence at any given time. And if you read the Committee of Expert report, which is a public document you can access on your mobile, they warned the people of Kenya that we are passing this document, but it will be very expensive to implement. And that's why today, Dr. Ekuru Aukot, as part of the team that wrote this constitution, has come back and told Kenya, we warned you. And if we warned you, this is the best way to fix it. If anything, the only person that can authoritatively talk about matters constitution in this country is Dr. Ekuru Aukot. He's a lawyer, he's a constitutional expert, and he is the only person who has been consistent in terms of lowering the burden right from after the election.
Okay.
Yes.
And now the questions are about how you're planning to lower it.
Now.
Now, let's be first of all read what you have.
Okay.
I've seen how you have broken it down
Correct.
into point form, into
Correct.
around 7 points.
Correct.
And you are pushing to reduce the parliament, that's the representation in the National Assembly.
Correct.
From 416 member parliament
to 147.
Correct. Now, how will that work?
Now, that's point number one, strengthening the Senate and National Assembly and reducing the cost of running it. If you read the current budget today, 2018-2019, the cost of running parliament alone is 42 billion. And we are saying, if we have 416 members of parliament, that is way too much. If you look at other jurisdictions, a country like India, 1.3 billion people is represented by 1,200. China, 1.4 billion people represented by 1,600. United States, 350 million represented by 322 people. In Kenya, only 56 million represented by 416 members of parliament. We are 400% overrepresented. And we're saying the first thing we're going to do, abolish all the 290 constituencies. Abolish. Then adopt the county as a constituency for the purposes of election to the National Assembly. And that means when you're doing that, each county will have 2 representatives at the National Assembly, a man and a woman. That will give you 94 members of parliament elected. But because we have to respect the provisions of Article 100 that protects the marginalized, the youth, and the disabled, we nominate 6 special interest groups in the format of a man and a woman. That gives you 100 only members of parliament elected to the National Assembly. And at the Senate, each county will elect only 1 senator to the Senate. 47 plus 100 is 147. That will cost taxpayers only 5 billion instead of 42 billion. That is number one.
Okay. And now the question is, restructuring of these constituencies. Don't you think that some members of parliament might come with a shrewd way of maybe shooting down your proposal simply because some of them would not want to lose their constituencies?
Even if they do that, who is the ultimate decider? It's the people, it's not the member of parliament. But remember, we also staring at delimitation of constituency under Article 89. That is coming very soon. It will happen. It have to happen. So it will pass.
Okay, so you're very confident.
Yes, absolutely.
And now you are reducing the wards to be the.
We are not reducing.
Not the wards. Sorry, you want to abolish the CDF and make the wards the.
First of all, remember
CDF, the unit of development in the country.
CDF.
Sorry, just wait me to finish the question, yes, please. Yes. And you want the wards to be the basic unit of development in the county level. Now, we have seen there's been a lot of conflict between the governors and the members of assembly. We can cite Kisumu County. We can cite Taita Taveta County.
For a number. Nairobi.
Yeah. So, how do you think this will go to pan out?
The purpose of using the ward as a primary unit of auxiliary development, first of all, comes from the point of strengthening devolution and taking services to the people. Between overrepresentation and taking services to the people, the Kenyan people told us we want taking services closer to us, to our doorsteps. And you have asked a very valid question. Now, in every ward, there's a member of that ward called the MCA. This MCA is the person who knows which road has not been fixed, which school has got no desk, which hospital has got no medicine, where there is no hospital. It basically means when you take services closer to the people, you are empowering the MCA to give those services to the people. And now, if you are a county governor and you are not in terms with your MCA of Ward B, for example, if you come from Kakelo Kokwanyo, Homa Bay County, where I come from, and the governor is not in terms with the MCA of Kakelo Kokwanyo, chances of developing that ward are very high. But if this is in the law, and we say that every ward will get allocation for development, a percentage, it is a law that must be followed. The same way we have got a revenue allocation law that allocate the money that go to the counties. We are saying this is going to be devolution beyond the county headquarters. And therefore, it is the quickest and the easiest route to develop and equalize Kenya.
Okay.
That is the bottom line.
Okay. Do you think we are duplicating roles? Because the county government will also be implementing the same.
The county government will not be implementing the same. If you read our bill, that's not what it says. Our bill says the money will go to the county government. And the county government now take this money. The same way money comes from the national government to the county government. And by the way, we are saying we must increase that allocation from at least from 35% currently, from 15% currently to 35%, at least 35%. That is the only way that we can ensure that there's development everywhere in this country, Turkana, Wajir, everywhere. Okay. Now, the reason why there will be no duplication is this money, when it comes to the county, now there's a formula that takes it from the county to the ward. The ward is the smallest unit of development in devolution, the smallest. And therefore, in every ward, we want to see schools, hospitals, roads, electricity, water, all those things that the Kenyan people need. If we follow the principle of Article 6 of the Kenyan Constitution, that the people of Kenya are in the wards, and the territories of Kenya are divided into the counties, that is where the people are. The people are not in the cities, they are in the wards and the villages. And that's why we are saying, instead of having so much money at the national executive, that money must now follow people to where they are, the villages and the wards. And there'll be no duplication about that.
Okay. And aren't you making the MCAs too powerful? And maybe some governors might see that they are threats to their governance.
You know, in service delivery, you must empower the leadership. Kenyan people are represented by the MCA, the governor, and the county executive. That is at the county level. And therefore, the purpose of MCA, if you read Constitution of Kenya, their job is to do oversight, representation, and legislation. And therefore, these are the people that are closer to the people at the local ground there. Okay. These are the people that need to be empowered more than ever. Okay. The governor is a policy director. Okay. He's just like a CEO. Who are the people? Who are with the people? Is the MCA. I'm not saying the member of parliament are not with the people, but I'm saying the person that is the leadership that is closest to the people at the county level is the member of county assembly. And this person sees the daily struggle of the people there. Okay. And therefore, empowering such a person is better. And by the way, today, if you look at what members of parliament are calling Constitutional Development Fund, it is unconstitutional. Okay. With the advent of devolution, that money ought not to be there. But they have went back and enacted laws to ensure that they have that money so they can use it for campaigns. Okay. No, that must stop. We must protect and strengthen devolution. And that's what Punguza Mizigo is intending to do.
Okay, I wanted to start from the county level. Correct. Now, you're also proposing scrubbing down the deputy governor seat.
Yes.
Why so?
That takes me to the third point, to lower the wage bill and recurrent expenditure. If you look at the Constitution of Kenya today, the deputy governor has got no clear role. And that's why you have seen the fight between the deputy governor and the governor. You have seen it in Kiambu, you have seen it where? We have seen it in Nairobi. Actually, Nairobi, we don't even have a deputy governor. We have seen it in West Pokot, where the deputy governor is in the United States. It therefore means that instead of having a deputy governor, the governor upon election shall nominate out of his or her executive team one CEC who will be acting as his or her deputy or personal or what do you call it, principal assistant. That is the person that will now have a portfolio and will conduct the role of a deputy governor. We don't need to have another deputy governor with chess cars, personal assistant, office. That is wage bill. It must go down. Okay. The Kenyan people have seen they have no proper role, and therefore we don't need them. And they told us this is part of the things that we want lowered. And on that point also, so that I don't miss it, commissions. The Constitution of Kenya, Article 250 today, talks that each commission shall have a maximum of 9 and not less than 7. And what members of parliament did, they went and enacted a law that makes the commissioners to serve full time. We have said the maximum number of each commission shall be 5, and this shall serve on the need basis, and their remuneration shall be based on what the advice of SRC.
That is both the national level and the county level.
Exactly. We're talking about commissions. Commissions are national.
Yeah.
We have also said, why do we need the people of Kenya to be registered every time there's an election? Well, we have got the register of persons. Upon attaining the age of 18, you are issued the national ID, and you're already a registered voter. Why do we need money to go and register them every time? That is a wage bill and a recurrent expenditure
we'll come to that because there also was some questions about it. And now there is the role of women representative. It's not clear what they have been doing, and many people are also questioning their role. And now you're proposing that we should not have those posts anymore if your bill passes. That is now. From there, how do we deal with the issue of gender, that gender rule?
You know, it is only Punguza Mizigo that has outlined clearly how to achieve the 1/3 gender principle, which is a constitutional requirement under Article 81B today, and it is a Bill of Rights under Article 27. By electing one man and one woman to the National Assembly, already you shall have achieved 50-50, not even a third. Why do you want to give women a third? Women of Kenya are capable, suitable, and competent, and therefore they deserve leadership roles. And by the way, we are doing away with that name tag, woman representative, that is very negative. We are doing away with that position, but we are elevating that position to a substantive member of parliament who is elected and given mandate by the people. And we are doing away also with all nominations, right from the Senate, National Assembly, all the way to the county assembly. Okay. So in our view, by giving women that opportunity, then they can be equalized. And again, we say, look at the bills that are going through parliament. Issues that are touching on the female gender, they have not been addressed substantively. Why? Because the male counterparts shoot them down. Okay. If we had 50-50 representation, what the women parliamentarians need to do just to lobby slightly from their male counterpart, and that bill will pass for the benefit of our women of Kenya. Okay,
let's now go to the national level.
Correct.
Now, you're proposing that we have one-term presidency.
Yes, one-term presidency for 7 years.
For 7 years, yeah. Yes. Do you think that is somehow I'm lucky the word to describe it. But it's a bit questionable. What if we elect a person who refuses to work and now decides now I only have 7 terms?
The people of
the
Kenya,
2 terms, those will take care of the presidency because he wants to deliver so he can be re-elected. And of course he wants to leave legacy.
You
So
see,
do you think we are risky as a country?
I agree with you, but the people of Kenya have asked us questions, and they have told us, look at the history of Kenya. Why do we have election violence every 5 years when you're going to election? That is the question that you have to ask yourself, and that is something you cannot run away from. It is an issue that we have seen in 1991, 92, in 2007, 2008. In 2017, we saw it. Why? Because whenever you have an incumbent who wants to retain his seat and a rogue opposition that's saying we must remove this president from power, we must have violence. Number 2, these issues come with economic meltdown. Every time. We have seen 2007, it was chaotic. 2017, we saw guys even saying a boycott, resist. You remember?
Yeah,
so that is because of an incumbency seeking re-election and a rogue opposition. And again, we have also seen when you are an incumbent, the first term, you don't work much because you are trying to impress the people put into power. And therefore, you start working for in the few years to the end of your first term because now you are seeking re-election. And there is accelerated theft during that time because you are acquiring masses of wealth so that you can campaign for the next time. Look at Kenya. Those are statistics. You can see them. So, we are saying when we give you 7 years for 1 term, you start work from the word go, you deliver your services and go, and then somebody else takes over. That is the only way that we can now demystify presidency and ensure that it is valued and it is worth what we call it the presidency.
So incumbency has been the problem in this country?
Incumbency is part of the problem. And many others that I've mentioned, incumbency is part of the problem. You know, in Africa, people fear. People get into leadership, especially at the level of presidency. They fear that I don't want to be the first president to serve for 1 term. In other developed countries, we have seen America has got so many presidents. Some of them did not even serve for the 2nd term, you know? So what we are saying is we must demystify presidency and make it worth it. We don't need to fight and die because of the presidency. No. We don't need to go and fight each other because our guy was not the president. No. We are saying that get your 7th term. By the way, 7th term is a long time. Imagine if President Kenyatta started working from the word go, talking about this theft of public money, corruption, fighting this guy. Today, we'll be having people serving in committee, several of them, and the funds would have been recovered. I think it was too late, if you ask.
Do you think we are risking, as I asked the question earlier, because we might have a scenario where we have a president who doesn't work? What then will happen?
Qualifications to become a president are outlined in the Constitution of Kenya. They are very vivid. The people of Kenya are advised, choose a leader that can work for you, not a leader that comes from your tribe. And therefore, that's not a question that is here nor there. No, it is not. The issue here is what do we do with that office to make it worth the office that the people would want to see.
And we have seen the kind of leaders being elected in this country, Mr. Okango.
No.
And we cannot just write off that a scenario will come up where we'll elect a president from the word go, we start crying again.
I agree. Our politics is so tribal. We have elected people in office, while others, like, for example, I'll give you a case in the governors. Makweni, they elected a professor who is working. Bomet, the same. Nairobi, Kiambu, you know what happened? So what we are saying is, the moment we strengthen the institutions of leadership, and the people see the service that comes from those institutions, then it follows that the person that leading that institution must be somebody who is worth. And that's what we are saying. And that's what we are saying, in amending any constitution is a piece of paper. We must breathe life into that constitution so that it can work for the people.
And you have cited very well that our politics is tribal.
Yes.
And that's not something you can move away from.
Yes.
Aren't you afraid that maybe your bill might take also the political angle, the tribal angle?
Mwema, if you read Punguza Mizigo Bill 2019, it is well drafted and crafted. Because recently when you read the headlines, and maybe that's why you have called us here today, is because the MCAs said, bring that bill yesterday. County Assembly Forum chairperson, that's the speaker of all the 47 counties, said, our people have said they want the bill. The Senate said, bring the bill. The MCAs said, we want the bill. those are people that are representing other people, their leadership, their representation. Why do they want the bill? Because they have seen that this bill will benefit the people they represent with whatever level, and that's why they want it. It will be very unfortunate for any leader, especially at the county level or at the Senate, to say that we reject this bill while it is fixing the issues. Let me give an example. As we speak today, the Senate and the National Assembly are fighting over supremacy battle, and they're fighting to the extent that we have failed to pass the revenue allocation bill that is a requirement on the budget. We have not. Why? Because the Senate feels we are the upper house, National Assembly feels we are the upper house. In our bill, in strengthening the Senate and devolution, we have said we must now make the Senate an upper house. It provides a hierarchical process and also give them veto power to check the excesses of the National Assembly. We have seen so many, just 1 minute, we have seen so many bills or laws that churned out of the National Assembly that are unconstitutional. Remember, the majority leader said some of the laws that the president signed into, some of the bills that the president signed into law are unconstitutional. And he was wondering, how did we do that? If we had a Senate with veto powers, this would not happen. I'll give you 2 examples. Number 1, Revenue Allocation Bill number 7 of 2018, that requires that while allocating revenue, you must use the most audited accounts under Article 203. Okay. 2017-2018, if you read it, the Parliament National Assembly used a wrong formula, 2013-2014, where the government collected 956 billion instead of formulating it on the most rated audit accounts when the government collected 1.4 trillion. Okay. That means they denied counties over 150 billion. The second one is the VAT Act of 2013 that was passed because of political expediency. The other one was fuel levy, 8%. You remember?
Yeah.
So these are the things that we are talking about. They are very practical examples. Okay. If we had a Senate with the veto powers that can check the excesses of a rogue parliament like ours today, then that will help a lot in churning out laws that are for the people of Kenya, not for individuals.
Okay. So, some will say you have taken advantage of the war between the Senate and the county assemblies.
No, we have not.
And the National Assembly. Because now, maybe MCAs are taking it because of the conflict of interest, as we have seen in many counties. Maybe the Senate also are taking advantage of the bill because of what is going on.
We have not taken advantage of anything of anyone, because the examples I've given you started a long way ago, 2013, 2014, they are all there. Yeah. Then there was no conflict, you know? Yeah. And we have just highlighted the problems in our institutions of governance and offered a solution. That is what Punguza Mizigo is about. Punguza Mizigo bill is about offering solutions while lowering the burden of governance to the common man who is the taxpayer. So we have not.
Okay. Let's not talk about the automation of electors registration.
Correct.
Now, you're saying we are going to save around 20 billion? 20 billion, yeah, through that. Don't you think we are putting now the commission at risk? Because so many elections from 2002, from 2007, 2008, people have been claiming that the electoral body has been compromised. And now, if you give, could this be now a new chance made to give them to, maybe if they get compromised again, will it be a danger to our elections?
Do you know why election bodies, people claim they've been compromised? Because of the institution itself. The institution itself has not come out clear to tell people what they've been doing and how. Now, we want to strengthen those institutions. And that's why we're saying, instead of having 9 commissioners working permanently, and these guys only come on a policy basis, let's have maximum of 5 who are working on part-time, and strengthen the secretariat with the full-time employees, you know? And that is given. Number 2, digitizing the electoral system so that we make it easy for people to vote. Imagine you are in Nakuru and you want to vote for your MCA in Kabondo, Kasepul, or Kakelo Kokwanyo. You have to travel all the way to Kakelo Kokwanyo. If you are a registered voter there, it is very expensive. It is a burden. So many Kenyans normally travel every election time, because they have to leave their work and go. That's why we are saying that burden must be lowered. But the most important one under it, we are saying, how do we ensure that we don't go on registering voters every time and again. While there's a person in this country who has been given a job and being paid by the taxpayers called register of persons. He has your national ID. He has your details at fingerprint. He has everything. Why do we need to go and do this every time? It will be the work of the Electoral Commission to now verify that data and confirm that this person exists and therefore this person is eligible to voting.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Let's now talk about corruption. You're proposing that there should be a punitive action and sentencing should be more severe than it is right now. Actually, you are calling for death sentence for if you are found capable.
No. We have not called for the sentence.
Life sentence, that's what we're saying. You're calling it that way.
Correct.
Life sentence. I'm not a lawyer, so maybe it might confuse me.
No, I understand.
But now, in the country, we have had issue with the investigations and the judiciary system. The judiciary has been claiming there is not enough evidence to convict anyone. The investigation organs have also been claimed that they have enough evidence. So there have been that conflict for a while now. It's not the first time we are seeing it. How practical is this going to be?
If you look at our bill, we have said we must enhance integrity and end corruption and theft of public money. How? That's why the question you're asking. Number one, we must now use the Auditor General report. Auditor General report is the only report that is constitutionally allowed. The auditor takes over 8 months to do an audit on all government entities and submit a report for a discussion with the recommendations. Okay? We must adopt that. Number two, forensic audit. We must strengthen the office of the DPP. We have said that. And therefore, we are saying if the ODPP is strengthened by using the Auditor General report, the forensic report, and we lower at the judiciary, we lower the timelines of executing these cases from I don't know how many years to 30 days and 45 days maximum with 15 days of appeal, then we shall see the fruits. And therefore, it will be very easy. If you are convicted of theft of public money, the difference between you and a murderer is none. Because the murderer kills. Okay. You steal money that is meant for hospitals, you are killing people. You steal money that's meant for roads, you are killing people. You steal money that is meant for development, you are basically killing in mass. And we are saying such a person who is convicted of such must be jailed for life with no presidential pardon. Because what? He is a murderer. And they've also said, in doing this, one of the things you have to understand is that the biggest problem in this country is theft. We are not only going to jail the people that stole from within the government, but they also have accomplices outside. If you read the bill, it also talks of people who are outside. Because they use proxies from outside to steal. Okay. Basically, that's what we are saying.
Okay. And conviction has been a problem, as I had said earlier, in this country. Actually, from the era of Goldenberg up to now, no one has ever been convicted.
There are quite a number who have been convicted.
I'm talking about the big fish.
Yes.
They only convict the small manage there, down there. Yes. Now, don't you think it's also going to be a challenge again?
I don't think so.
Or you are confident
I don't think so.
This is going to work?
The court of law uses the evidence before them. What we are trying to do, we are trying to enhance the evidence that will be appearing before the court of law. And that evidence will come from the Auditor General report, from the forensic audit, and so on and so forth. That's what we have done. We are making the office of the ODPP to do thorough investigations. We are also making the work of the police very easy to ensure that when they arrest you, you are taken to court immediately, and the court has got the shortest time possible to find you culpable or not, and therefore proceed to either acquit or convict.
Okay. Now, let's not talk about the process. If the IBC approves.
When the IBC approves.
No, it's just a matter of when now. It's not if.
When.
Okay. Now, at the county level, because the bill has to go to the county assemblies. Yes. Now, how much have you lobbied to ensure that when it goes there, it's just within the three stipulated months, and then, of course, it goes to the next level?
As you're aware, the MCAs at the county level, in the county assemblies, this is their bill. They are waiting for it. They have said through the CAF chair, Dr. Okot and Punguza Mizigo team, bring the bill. The bill will pass. Okay. I can assure you. Okay. As you are aware, the senators have said, we have had enough fight with the National Assembly. We needed a solution. Thank God, Dr. Okot and team, you have provided the solution. Bring the bill. Okay. And therefore, what I'm saying is, In our view, we know for a fact that this bill, the moment IEBC announces on Friday that the promoter with third way alliance has met the constitutional threshold of conducting a popular initiative, and therefore we are taking the bill to the county assemblies, that is the day that the discussion will move to the counties. And therefore, they will debate it. The constitution requires that it is passed by majority of the counties. Majority of the county means at least 24. That bill will come with two certificates, one to the National Assembly, one to the Senate. And at the Senate and the National Assembly, it will be discussed again. If they fail to pass it, that bill will move to the people in a referendum. But we want to ask them, please, members of Senate and members of the National Assembly, particularly members of National Assembly, pass this bill so that we can lower the Mizigo of referendum again. And then the president will just assent to it as a law, and then we will. But if they don't want, and they feel that there's a lot of politics in it, they will go all the way to the people. And the people of Kenya, they have said, you have seen Wanjiku saying, tumechoka, ponda mechoka. They've said, we want Punguza Mizigo. They'll pass it by mid-morning. And we'll have
now,
a question.
the major question is about the National Assembly. Have you talked to the National Assembly? How many MPs are supporting this?
You know, when we were collecting these signatures, there are quite a number of members of parliament who came to us and said, this is what we want. So there are quite a number of them out there who believe that this is the best thing. They're just there, silent. Like any other who signed, they're just silent. So they're many.
And the process stipulates that if any of the houses fails to pass it, it goes to the people.
Yes.
Now, are we expecting a scenario where both houses will pass it?
I am very confident that the leadership of the two houses will look themselves into the mirror, which is themselves, and say, I'm doing this for the people I represent. Because they took a vow to protect and defend the Constitution of Kenya. They took an oath of office. And therefore, it is upon them to ensure that they respect that and obey that. And while doing this, they will not be doing it for themselves. They'll be doing it for the people. The bill talks about so many things that are for the common man. And if the leadership of or rather the Senate and the National Assembly members are representing the people, then I don't see what will stop them from passing the bill. They will definitely pass it.
Yes. We hope they pass it so we Mizigo on the referendum.
We do. And by the way, Mwema, you know, it is very interesting that everyone you meet complains about governance. They complain about theft. They complain about the member of parliament. Recently, you saw, they want a night allowance. They want 17 allowances. They want, I don't know, housing allowance. They want the weakest link. You know where it is? It is right there in parliament. And that's where everyone is fighting. People take a bribe as low as 10,000. And therefore, the common man has identified. They have seen that our problem is right there. How do we ensure? Because you see, it is in the parliament that legislation is done. So any legislation that comes from that horrible house, for example, is a legislation that's going to injure the common man. So that is where the arrow is. And the arrow is pointing at the eater. And therefore, Punguza Mizigo has come at the right time when the Kenyan people say, Third Way Alliance, Dr. Okot, you have saved us. We will ensure that this bill will lobby, and by the way, now it is the members of public that are lobbying the NCA, not even us. And we also have an elaborate plan that will reveal the moment IBC announces that we are going to the counties. And that is the announcement we'll make on how we are going to talk to our friends in the county assembly who have shown that they want to pass it, and it will pass. And definitely, we cannot rule out talking to them. Because you see, we must persuade them. We must keep on telling them why this bill is good for the people, for their people, for our people, for everyone. This bill, we also believe, the government is struggling with the fight of theft of against theft of public money, corruption. If this bill is outlining that, what stops the government from supporting the bill? They should.
I've also seen your party leader calling for the president to support the bill.
The party leaders called the president to support the bill. We have called all other leaders. The president of the Republic of Kenya has shown that he wants to fight corruption. Punguza Mizigo has outlined to the president how he can fight that corruption with ease and constitutionalize it. We ask the president to support this bill. We ask the opposition leaders to support this bill because they also say they represent the people. We ask all leaders at the county assembly, pass this bill. This is your bill. This bill is going to help the people lower the burden that they're carrying today.
Okay.
You took an oath to protect the constitution. You took an oath that will represent your people. We ask you, this is the moment. Pass this bill so that Kenya can have a Kenya that is equal for all, a Kenya that is inclusive, by ensuring that every person in the corner of this country get equitable share of the national budget revenue as required by law. That is the inclusivity that Kenyans want, nothing else. And that one will be brought about by Punguza Mizigo.
Okay, now let's talk about what next now for that realliance, after Friday, that is.
When Chebukati Wafula Wanyonyi announces, Chebukati will have a bit of time to take the bill to the counties.
Okay.
When that happens, we'll move swiftly to go and pitch at the county assemblies and explain to them in details why Punguza Mizigo bill. And then we leave it at that point. They'll debate it, they pass it. When the bill comes to the National Assembly and Senate, we'll again move to the National Assembly and Senate and tell them why Punguza Mizigo bill. When they pass it, the president will say, okay, fine, bring it on, assent. But if they fail to pass it in either houses, then we'll now go to the people again, tell them, we have walked the talk, here we are, kindly, this was your bill, and as you know, it is pro-people, it is pro-you, take it to the referendum, and you know what? Yes.
Okay. Some will say this is a litmus test towards your party's ambitions in 2022. Are you really testing the waters?
We are not testing anything. We are convinced. And that's why this bill is not political. It is the only bill that is not political. If you look at the support it has received support from the political divide.
Okay.
All political parties, leadership are supporting it. We don't want to talk about 2022 because it's only God who knows we'll be alive at that time. But we pray that we'll be there and see what happens at that time.
Okay.
But this bill is about lowering the burden of governance. We don't want to mix issues of politics with constitutional amendment.
Okay.
And therefore we have said we will follow the law, and the law provides that you must collect signatures, have a bill, IBC verify the signatures, and then the bill move to the county, National Assembly, Senate to the people if need be.
Okay.
Therefore, it is not in any way related to politics of 2022. And by the way, when it passes and the people say, yes, this is the bill that we'd have wanted, and Dr. Okot, Daktari wa Katiba, you have delivered it, why don't you have you as our president? We'll not refuse. We'll heed to the call of the people of Kenya.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's look at what people are saying on Twitter.
Correct.
We have Alex saying, we all know Punguza Mzigo bill is the best solution. But we are worried of the Tanga team and the other camps are going to shoot it down before even it reaches the parliament. And reduce your fears also, because I also asked you that question.
Yeah, they are. You know, Wema, you cannot run away from that. We are a very political country, and you cannot at any time run away from that. What we are saying is, whatever groupings that would want to shoot it down, they'll be shooting the wishes of their people, because this bill has been endorsed by their people. The 1.4 million Kenyans who endorsed it are from all over. So they're shooting the wishes of their people. And we would urge them, if there's anyone out there who has got that intention, please stop shooting your people. Support your people.
Okay, there's also Alex Aleki. He's saying, tuning, I love the conversation. And he says, no one can stop reggae.
No one can stop reggae. No one can stop reggae. On this one, no. And there's something that you mentioned earlier, the failure of the previous attempts.
Yeah.
And if you're aware, some of those attempts never reached the stage that we have reached today. And therefore, that tells you how meticulous we have been. And we believe that this process, you know, as we work in silence, we don't shout a lot. We don't rush to the media we don't go to the weddings to talk about this thing. We don't go to the funerals. We don't go to the press conference to keep announcing, but we work. And that work today can be seen. We have been very meticulous. Dr. Okot has been leading this process meticulously. And therefore, we believe that the job we have done is a job that has got no questions about it.
Okay. I'm seeing a lot of feedback. We have Kipleting, a good preso. I see my SG Fredo Cargo has really deliberated what Kenyans wanted, and I love how he's spreading the word.
Thank you.
That's a good feedback.
All of them are good, remember. All of them. All of them are good, you know.
And also, we have Ken saying Punguza Mizigo is the way to go, but the question is, are the people ready?
The people of Kenya are ready. They have endorsed it, and we keep telling them, please, what's the name? Ken,
Yeah.
Ken, tell your MCA to tell other MCAs that the time has come to Punguza Mizigo. Let them pass it so that we can lower the burden. The time is now, and everyone is ready. Look at the theft in parliament. Look at the cost of life. It is so expensive. It has come at a nice time, at a proper time that we must lower. So the Kenyan people are ready.
Okay, there's also Naashon Joroge. So yesterday I tried to educate my fellows about Punguza Mizigo Bill 2019, but I was shocked to learn that they know nothing about your proposal. Are there plans to educate Mwananchi on the need to change the laws of the land?
Absolutely. That's what we are doing here. Absolutely. We are all over. When you go to our website, www.thoughtlands.com, the bill is there. You can download it, you can read it, you can tweet us, you can reach us through our number, everything. We are going to the people, we are asking the people. You know, shockingly, Mwema, when we went round for a year collecting signatures, there are people who did not sign. Today they are coming out, but I'm sorry I didn't sign. Can I sign? I tell them, no, it's late, but you can still support, you can spread the word. And therefore, the civic education continues. Why Punguza Mizigo is continuing throughout till the day that you cast your referendum ballot. So we are continuing to spread the message. And I thank him for highlighting that. Keep doing what you're doing.
Okay. And also we have Nyambura Ndungu saying the powerful angry monster trying by all means to take control of this country, they would favor them this time. Punguza Mizigo Bill 2019 seems to be the only reasonable bill that speaks to the commoner.
I can assure you, look at such. The people of Kenya are at work. They have seen there are certain quarters who are trying to do something. But they have also seen this Punguza Mizigo team that have expressed themselves. They have put 16 cogent reasons why you must amend the constitution. And this is for the people of Kenya. And we ask any monster, if any, I don't know whether there's any, I've not seen, if there's any monster that would want to stop this thing, please, monster, don't do it, because the people of Kenya want it.
Okay. Let me read the last comment here. We have just been saying, wait, I was waiting to hear all the SG, that is that way Allowance Kenya, will say about women representatives, and now that we don't even know what they do. Of course, you have responded to that.
I think he missed that point, but I can just, for his benefit, we are abolishing the tag women representative, the position of women representative, but we are elevating the women of Kenya to occupy a position called a member of parliament from the county, not women representative. Because the women representative are coming with a negative tag. They have been told they are decorating, they are flower girls, they decorate events, they don't know what they're doing, and therefore we would want them to be substantive and to present the people just like their male counterpart, who also enjoys the benefit of being a member of parliament.
Okay. Yes. And as we wind down, now I want you to talk to the Mwananchi back at home. Tell them what this initiative is all about, and of course, why they should support it. You can use that camera.
The people of Kenya, we have walked the journey. We have walked the talk. We took over 1 year to collect your views and your endorsements so that we can take the Punguza Mizigo bill to the next level. You listened to us and you supported it in masses of 1.4 million. Today, as we speak, the verification process of signatures is almost complete, and IBC will be announcing very soon, by Friday. We ask you to ask your member of parliament, to ask your senator, to ask your MCA to pass this bill, because they vowed to represent you. If this bill represents your views, if this bill helps lower your burden that you're carrying every day, then they have got no obligation but to help you pass this bill through their leadership, so that we can have a lighter load, so that we can have no load, so that we can lower the Mizigo they're talking about. The burden of walking kilometers look for hospitals, the burden of walking kilometers look for school, water, electricity, and everything of everyday life. This is the time, this is the solution. We ask you, the people of Kenya, when the bill finally gets to the county, tell your MCA to pass it. When it gets to the National Assembly and Senate, tell your member of parliament to pass it. And therefore, it is your bill. It has been well, it is good. This is the bill that we've been waiting for. It is here now, and we say Punguza Mizigo is the only way, is the real deal.
Okay, thank you so much, Freddy Kango. Thank you, asante sana wakuja.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Hope we'll have you more in the show, maybe to deliberate on other issues.
After Friday, you'll be calling me, because this will pass. And then we'll
Okay.
have a discussion. I can even send my party chairman. I
Okay.
can bring Dr. Okot. I
Okay.
mean,
We really appreciate.
Correct.
Okay, thank you so much.
I
And of course, the conversation continues on Twitter, hashtag GBS Money Extra, our SMS line 21144. Continue talking, Punguza Mizigo Initiative. What are your questions? The party always responds to your questions on social media platforms. So just keep tweeting, and thank you so much for keeping it GBS Money Extra. See you tomorrow.